over the last 48 hours, as we have asked many of our viewers to write in and share their experiences, we have found so many new case studies. And General Satbir Singh is back with us today, as chairman of the ex-servicemen movement. Maruf, thanks for coming back. And General Shankar Prasad, thanks for coming in. And General VP Malik, former Chief of Army Staff, thanks for coming in this Friday evening, sir. I first would like to go across to Padma Sangli and Shakuntala Bhandarkar, who are wives of late Major Sangli and late Colonel Bhandarkar. Thank you very much for joining me. And I saw some of the frustration which you expressed there in the course of that news report. Now, I first would like to try and, so that our viewers who are watching today, Mrs. Sangli and Mrs. Bhandarkar, I'd like to both of you to first just share the difficulties that you've been through, because people need to know what a martyr's wife and what a martyr's family goes through in our country after being made the promises by their own government. So, if I can begin with any of you, if you can share your experiences with us so that we get a sense of how pathetic the situation has become, please. I'd like to go across to you in Bangalore, please.
Yes, thank you, Arnav, for starting this campaign. We as women who are single parent, having lost our husband, we were in fact we are very busy with our own work and responsibilities. We never had the time to raise our voice, and your Times Now has given us the platform to raise our voice and our issues and bring it to the notice of the government, which we have been trying silently, through very formal and decent ways of, communicating to them, but they have just given us their blind eye and ignored us to the core. And we are immensely grateful to your channel. Your team, Pooja and Neha, have been frantically trying to coordinate with us with the shoot and all that. And we on behalf of all the families here, especially in Karnataka, we are thankful to you. And I want to tell you that in Karnataka, the state of martyrs' families are really very pathetic. I would like to first, from my side, I would like to tell you that the honorarium the gallantry awardees are getting is mere pittance. We have raised these issues in various medias, local medias, but no one has heard our plea. To brief you about it, it is like having my husband having received Shaurya Chakra, I am getting rupees 250 per annum as the honorarium. Just imagine, rupees 250 per annum is the honorarium my husband gets for receiving Shaurya Chakra, and this is what the the great Karnataka government is giving us. So what is 250 rupees per annum for today? You can just imagine, what is the value for that money.
I just for our viewers, Mrs. Bhandarkar, I want to say that Colonel Ajit Bhandarkar was with the 25 Rashtriya Rifles, and he was awarded the Veer Chakra posthumously for his role in the Kargil war. So we understand. He sacrificed his life, and after killing 3 terrorists in an encounter in Poonch during the Kargil war in 1999. And he, in the gun battle in which your husband succumbed to enemy bullets, he killed 5 terrorists. And if I am not mistaken, he was 39 years old, right? So,
and my kids were 5 years old and 7 years old.
So
my kids were just 5 years and 7 years old.
A 39-year-old martyr survived by his wife and his 2 young children. And what does the country give? The country gives his wife in turn 250 rupees annually. And I'd like to underscore this, ladies and gentlemen, even for that Shakuntala Bhandarkar is made to fight and wait. But let me tell you about the greatness of this lady. She has allowed her son to join the army. I just cannot express, Mrs. Bhandarkar, our gratitude as citizens for people like you. And I now want to just ask.
And
Yes, please go ahead. No, please go ahead.
yes, I just want to tell all of them, all the viewers, that whenever a person chooses this profession, it is not because when he loses his life, he will be compensated or something like that. It is something which only the privileged or only the lucky ones, I feel, will get it. He died with his boots on, so it's a great honor for, not only for him, honorable death for him, but also as a family we take a great pride in that. So I would like to announce in front of all the Indians who are watching today Times Now, that till today I was accepting that 250 rupees as an honor and as a pride, as a matter of pride. But today in front of all of you, I am telling you I am not going to accept it, because it's high time they think about it and they try to review it. This amount was fixed about 25 years, or I mean maybe I don't know how many years back, 30 years back. And the government still doesn't have the time to review all these benefits given to the martyrs and their families. This is just one peek into the life of the martyrs' family. What is the level of honor and pride we have to face from the society?
And I just want to make this point today. When we began the news hour, to all our viewers, we began with a story of how a minister decides to give 20,000 rupees as bakshish to any of his chosen people, his private assistants, his gardeners, his cashier, and how these Air India directors give themselves free plane rides for their family for the rest of their life. And this is how we treat our martyrs' families. We just need to know that. I'd now like to please invite Padma Sangli, wife of another martyr, late Major Sangli, martyred in Operation Rakshak in 2001 in Jammu and Kashmir. Ms. Sangli, can you please tell us the difficulties that you went through, so that our viewers get a sense of what martyrs' wives go through?
Well, I was married to Major Sangli for about 10.5 years, and it was a marriage by choice. I was always wanting to marry a person in uniform, and I happened to meet up with Captain Sangli at that time. Now, Captain Sangli then chose to work in the field. He opted for field postings for most of his life, which meant that I was staying away from him for almost about 8 years of my married life, in a total span of 10.5 years. We had a son at that time, and when he was martyred in Op Rakshak, my son was 7 years old. It was initially very, very difficult for me to accept being alone, having to cope with this loss, but what kept me going was this great sense of pride I felt that he gave up his life in the honor of this country, and he died in his uniform. The image that will always remain in mind is that of his body and his coffin being draped in the national flag. I was 38 too when I lost Major Sangli, and so was he. I was very naive, and I, in my simplicity, believed that everything would fall in place and we would get our dues. I applied for land that was meant to be given to war widows through the Department of Sainik Welfare, Bangalore, and they sent across a letter to the Revenue Department, and they asked me to follow up. Like I said, I was very, very naive. I thought I would just go and meet them and it would happen. Well, I've been meeting them for the last about 8 to 9 years, and nothing has moved. Personally, I believe I'm a fairly brave person and also fairly resilient. I kept going at it, and I can't tell you, Mr. Goswami, what kind of stories I've heard for not having to give land that was duly meant to us. My files were made, land was identified in the north of Bangalore, each time in a place where they could have easily given it to me. But they chose to shoot down my file for reasons such as it was meant for the burial ground and it was earmarked for an educational institution and such stories. I met up with several people in the bureaucracy and also several MPs and several ministers. who I think meant well and also put in a word, but the babus in those offices just couldn't care. I have surmounted such apathy, I can't tell you, to even try and move the file. My file as of now is available in the office of the Chikballapur Tahsildar, and as I speak to you, Mr. Goswami, I hold a letter in my hand dated 5th of April 2014. This letter reached me about 15 days back. Like any other letter, I decided not to open it because I somehow knew that it would say that I'm not going to get the land that I had applied for. Nevertheless, just before I came on the show, I dared to open this letter, and no surprise, it clearly says that we are not going to be given this land, although the land is identified and the file is built. Now, in absolute Kannada language, it says that this is not earmarked for me or war widows, and therefore my application has been shot down. All I ask is, give us our due, treat us with respect, please allow us to live with dignity. That is the least this country, the state and the society can do for us. I don't want to hang my head in shame, and I'm forced to do that.
Ms. Sangli and
Mr. Goswami?
Mrs. Bhandarkar, you know, I think what you have conveyed should be enough for people to wake up. But unfortunately, if I may just share my own experiences here with government officials sometimes, you know, everything is done for ceremony. And very often there is a feeling that if the camera is not on this particular person, you know, and if there is a martyr's wife, she is an individual, it's her individual case. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching Newshour tonight, remember this, that it is not that Shakuntala Bhandarkar and Padma Sangli have been denied what is their due. My problem, General Malik, and I'd like to come to you first, is that Padma Sangli and Shakuntala Bhandarkar, and before that Subhashini Vasant, and I don't know how many others, they are being repeatedly insulted. They are being humiliated. They are being made to feel very, very small, General Malik. Very small. And they say that maybe the politicians and MPs, they went to mean well, but I'll tell you what the problem is. I don't think anybody feels that their pain is also to be shared by them. You know, it's almost as if I'll do my little bit and then can you please move on and fight your case alone.
Yeah, and I would also
Yes.
like to tell our viewers that we are all empowered women and we are
Yes.
all professionals in our own area.
Yes.
It is just that whatever we are doing is we are fighting for our kids. You know, they have lost their fathers and they are missing their fathers, and there is a vacuum in their life.
Ma'am, you don't need
and
to
if the government has
you don't need to even
promised
say
us
that.
something,
We owe it to our martyrs' families. There's no reason or explanation which needs to be made. But General Malik, why is this situation being let to be like this? I mean, why is this happening? As we uncover this story, it appears that there are thousands of such cases all over the country.
That is right. Firstly, Arnav, let me compliment you and your channel and thank you all for taking up this much needed cause and try and awakening the whole lot of people in India. My last book, which I wrote a few months ago, which has been published a few months ago, carries a dedication to the Indian Army soldier, remembered in war, forgotten in peace. So the stories that you have heard are absolutely right. I have personally experienced the kind of indifference, apathy from the bureaucrats, from the officials, from the politicians. They make tall promises, particularly when the elections are due, and then they forget about them, as the ladies have just now mentioned. And it is a sad story that they are humiliated, they are made to feel small, as they themselves have described. I believe that none of our politicians, none of our senior officers from the civil services who deal with all these matters, none of them have any connection with the armed forces these days. Nobody's got his kith and kin in the armed forces. If they had their own relations working in the army, serving in the armed forces, they would probably realize all these things. And even in our society, they only remember the soldier during a crisis, and as soon as the crisis is over, they forget about the soldiers. Let me give you my own example. A few months ago, I wrote a personal letter delivered by hand to a deputy chief minister about an anomaly which I had brought to my notice, and one of the martyrs' family was suffering. Do you know, the gentleman, he did not even bother to acknowledge that letter.
Yeah.
I felt so bad and so small.
Yeah.
That here is an ex-army chief taking up the case for somebody, a martyr's family, a decorated officer,
Yeah.
and trying to show him that these are the anomalies, why don't you correct them? And the letter is not even acknowledged. So you are right that there are hundreds and hundreds of these stories, and people don't feel about them because they don't have any relations, any kith and kin in the armed forces, and they only remember us during the elections or when there is a crisis, and then they forget about these things. And I'm so glad that you are taking up these.
No, we are going to take it up, and I'm assuring you, General Malik, that we are going to be an irritant in the system as far as this whole subject is concerned now. And I am also assuring Shakuntala Bhandarkar and Padma Sangli what I also assured Subhashini yesterday. I said we will take up hundreds of such cases. We will pick it up through the entire, because it's not a system of reward, and I'm going to come back to this. I have to take a small break. Just consider this. You are not rewarding the martyr's family if you are giving them their due. It's not a private reward. It is a promise made to a person when he wears the uniform. You have today Colonel Ajit Bhandarkar's wife Shakuntala, who says, my husband died in his boots. I am so proud of him. Her son today is in the army. I think this sentiment must be shared, and I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to take a short break, and I'm going to ask once again, when I come back, Padma Sangli, on why she felt she was almost giving up with against the system, and whether she and Shakuntala Bhandarkar will now be willing to speak on behalf of other martyrs' wives as well. Maruf, General Shankar Prasad, sorry for coming to you late. I'll be with you on the other side.